Hey.
Hello.
I'm just checking the volume levels. They look good. We are here for Cheese Talk Live with the one and only Maggie from... No, that's just the
not
cheese. Maggie. I'm going to turn the highlights down if you want to keep talking for a second.
Okay.
Lauren.
I'm supposed to keep talking. Hi. Cheese.
Cheese.
I'm ready. I'm real ready. It's looking
It's my
good.
favorite
girl.
day of the month, every month.
Yeah.
The dogs are jealous that I didn't hear
I
you
know.
working.
How's David?
She's good.
Perfect.
She's perfect.
First things first, tell David.
Yes, she's
Does
good.
that look less bright?
Yeah, that looks good.
Yeah, there we go.
That looks good. She's good.
So I need to get it loaded up on my phone so I don't have to keep clicking to switch camera angles. But can you believe it's April already?
I know.
When did we do the last one?
February.
Okay.
It does feel like 2 months has gone by.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like March felt like it was the slowest month of my life. And now April's almost over.
I know.
What is time anymore?
I know. But at least the weather's finally hopefully changed for good.
Yeah.
I can't do any more cold rain.
It's supposed to be like 80, close to 90 on Sunday.
Oh, wow.
That's too hot.
Like high 80s, I think. I agree.
I would rather
Yeah.
be winter than summer.
Yes. Yeah. I'm excited for, I don't know, I feel like everybody's just a little happier, like in a
Yeah.
better mood.
Agreed.
The sunshine, being outside, just
Yeah.
some vitamin D for everybody. You know we need it. Alex, you have something stuck to your butt.
Thanks. Tape.
Yeah. Cheese, yum.
I'm just getting so I can control it from here.
All right, so last time, Swiss cheese. I love Swiss cheese. I still love Swiss cheese. I've been eating a lot of it on my sandwiches, and every time I'm like, I can't believe that Maggie.
I
don't
still
know.
think it's boring. It has a good.
I figured it out though. This the texture that I really like. It's really firm and adds like a good bite to a sandwich when you've got just like some
Like
soggy
teeth going.
bread.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's why I like it so much.
I get that.
It has its purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd eat it by itself.
Oh, I would. It's like you eat it and it's like, I don't know. It's just, you don't even need a cracker. It's just so.
My mom always used to
Crunchy.
make us make roll-ups. Did your
Yeah.
mom? It's
Oh,
like
yeah.
just get, it was like the original gluten-free. It's like just get a piece of deli meat
Uh-huh.
and roll it with cheese and get out of my hair.
Bye.
You know. I always think of that.
Yeah. That and ants on a log. Did your mom ever do that?
My mom used to, when she wanted us away, she would have us set up the dining room chairs 2 by 2 and then give us sliced pepperoni. And she was like, pretend you're on an airplane. And so I didn't fly till I was like in high school. And I was like,
You're
this
like,
is
"Where's the
what
pepperoni?"
This is what people do on airplanes. But we would do it for hours, you know. That's why I think.
Oh man. Do you now use some of those with your children?
I feel like it's different. I have 2 boys. They would not sit and play airplane. They would pick the chairs up and beat each other with
Yeah.
them. You know?
Also with like now, like I guess kids have a ton of things that we didn't have when we were kids, or you know, it's nothing
Yeah.
for an iPad or TV or computer
Yeah.
games. Or,
I do feel like kids now are not as good at just being bored. Like they expect to
Yeah,
have
entertainment.
something. Like, what are we doing today? I
Yeah.
don't know. Go find something
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah.
You know?
Entertain me endlessly.
My
Yeah.
niece, last year at the pool or something, there was like a bunch of family there, like 5 or 6 of us, and she came up to me. She's like, "You haven't played with me today. You play with me." And I was like, "No. I'm here to be at the pool and have a glass of wine. You
Yeah.
can go play and I'll watch you."
Yeah. I don't know when that shift happened, but it's a thing.
Yeah. It makes me glad I don't
All
have
right,
children.
everything looks
I can barely entertain myself.
perfect in terms of the cameras and the cheese. We got a close with the cheese.
Oh, Horton
we got all
signed up
the-
for a butter club this month and can't wait to hear
So-
about it.
Oh, good.
The Hortons
Oh,
won
I
the box
saw that
last
order.
time.
Oh, okay.
And I was texting with him yesterday and asking if he was gonna, what he was up to, because they travel a lot.
Okay.
And he's like, that butter was life changing.
Yeah.
He's like,
that
I'm
was a good
signing
one.
up for that.
Well, I'm excited about this one. This is the first goat butter that we've done.
Ooh.
Why don't you see a lot of? Why? I guess we see goat cheeses in grocery stores and that kind of stuff, but we don't really see goat butter. It just hasn't caught on, or is it?
I think there's just
More expensive. Like
not as much demand, and the yield on cow's milk is so much greater than goats.
Big.
Yeah.
Oh.
You know.
Does it taste different?
It does a little. You get a little bit of goat in this, and we could start with butter. This
Sure.
one.
Change it up, right?
Yeah.
We only
Crazy
normally
here.
start with cheese.
So this is from northwestern England, and this family has been making goat's
Does it
milk.
have a fun or just noticeable
It's a-
outside? So
It's
if you
got a-
point it that way.
Orange down some.
Oh.
It's got an
Oh,
orange
okay.
goat with a beard.
Yeah. So this family started doing goat's milk in the mid 80s, and they have a big focus on sustainability and happy animals, which is awesome.
Happy animals make better
Lots
butter.
of knives
Yeah,
and
make
butter
better
knives.
everything. So I don't know if we talked about this before, but in the last, 20, 30 years globally, the focus on happy animals has been huge, which is great. But the more like natural light in the barns makes a big difference, because just like people
Like
need
humans, weird.
sunshine, they need sunshine too. So sort of this freer, happy environment, you actually get more milk and better quality milk. So it's a win-win, which is sort of cool.
Aww,
Hi, Miko. Oh, you want some butter?
that's cute. I'm glad that cows are getting some vitamin D.
Yeah.
Some. The lucky
You
ones.
can't show them too much, or else they'll make a break for it.
Or they won't appreciate it as much. It's like just wearing it out. Oh, the sun. Yeah, I see that all the time. Who
Okay,
cares?
so you can either be a butter purist and just eat it, or we have this month a baguette came with Butter Club.
I feel like with this, I have to try everything at least first by itself.
So
That's good butter. Oh my goodness. That's so good.
Miko.
That's so good.
but it really has a nice roundness to it. It doesn't have that goaty tang that turns a lot of people off.
It's really good. It's like perfectly salty. Is this considered a cultured butter? What does that mean?
So cultured butter, they add cultures just like in cheese,
Okay.
sort of environmental, little
Organisms or whatever,
microflora, and it helps sweeten the milk or ripen it. This one is not cultured, but it's delicious. I think last month cultured or the month before? But usually cultured butters have a little bit of a more like yogurty tang to them. And that's a traditional European style.
Interesting.
I like last month's. So we didn't stream last month's, but last month it was came with a croissant.
Oh,
which
yeah.
I love croissants.
I do
No, we
too.
had
Which
a
are pretty
croissant
much-
with her, I thought.
No, that was a scone. If you remember, which was also very good.
The truffle butter.
But we went to VMFA. I think I texted you just because.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, "Where are you enjoying your cheese pies?" All the dogs and a
Wonderful.
big picnic
Yeah.
on the VMFA.
And y'all have been to DeBruno since I saw you last.
yes, we did.
How was it? It's an
Overwhelming.
experience, right?
It was so overwhelming.
It was like right before we were leaving, and we didn't have a cooler, and I was like I don't know if I want to buy something and then
Yeah.
drive 6 hours. So we didn't buy anything. From
Okay.
there, but we ended up eating a bunch of food right before we left, and the whole time we were there.
Yeah.
Also, we didn't really expect to pass one and go. His sister before we
I didn't
left
even
was like-
notice, and Lauren pointed out. She's like, "We're in the store Maggie talked about." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, she
Yeah,
wanted
'cause
to go to what Italian market or I don't know what it's called, the area. And so
It's
we
like
went
Little
to walk
Italy.
around. Yeah.
Oh, that big inside market?
No.
Well, she wanted to take us so many places because she lived there for so long and she loves it so much, but there's only so much time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she's the one who leaves like 5 minutes before her plane takes off from her house. So
Yeah.
Lauren was stressed out for her, and
Yeah.
we just wanted to make sure she got home, back to LA.
Let's try it now with a little of the whipped honey, which is
So this is butter and bread, or just
it's butter,
Hunter
bread, and the
and
whipped
honey.
honey. So this is the full package of what came in this month.
Do they sell cultured butter at grocery stores?
Yeah. You should be, even like Kroger should have some cultured option.
Interesting.
VBC, I think they've rebranded Vermont Creamery. I think you can get it at Kroger, and they have a cultured option. But
So when you get a butter box, you get the bread, the honey, and the butter. Or this month at least.
No, Nitty, we're talking about Philadelphia, DeBruno Brothers. But apparently it's a chain. I don't know, chain.
I think they have like,
A couple.
yeah.
What was the
several
deli we
stores.
went to and we had the same sandwich in the same chair as Barack Obama?
Cat's Deli? Was it Cat's?
No, it
I
was a
think
Jewish
that's
deli
New York.
Oh, some.
in Philly.
I don't know.
I know he got a Reuben and we got a Reuben and we took a picture eating it next to his picture eating it.
That's fun.
It was really fun. And I mean, it's so huge. So, like the biggest sandwich.
Yeah.
It's a good food town.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was really good.
What do y'all think of the whipped honey?
It's
Amazing.
good. So I don't know if it was just I didn't get a lot of honey or it's just not as sweet as normal honey.
Yeah, I think because it's whipped, it's kind of like toned down. Like, I'm not usually a big honey person.
Same. What's
But that's
the
good.
white
It's subtleness.
on top?
So, to do the whipped honey, they heat it up and then whip it. They call it controlled crystallization. So I think when they bottle it, that just sort of that nice little
So
foaminess
take a
rises
straight
to the
hit and
top.
we'll see how it goes.
Straight hit.
I also read that bees have no ears, but their antenna can sense air movement, and so
Oh.
that's their way of hearing, which is interesting.
That is interesting.
I've been a lot to eat. It's like taking a lot of cinnamon. I was like, it must not be that sweet, so I took it really big
You
piece.
took too big of a hit. What?
And it kind of like choked me up as I was trying to swallow it.
That was such a great bee fact.
What?
I don't remember if I said it last time, but you can tell the color of a chicken's eggs by its color of its earlobes.
What?
No, you didn't. I think
Yeah.
I'd remember that.
I remember telling it to somebody, but that's what made you.
I didn't know chickens had earlobes.
Exactly, I know they do. They're like, right, like here.
Do they just have little holes?
kind of, but like,
Like
well,
bird
they
holes?
kind of have like earlobes, kind of like the
gulp.
turkey thing, but a little bit here. And they don't have top ears. It's just covered by feathers. Yeah. But like if they have like a certain color earlobe, I don't know, red or something, they lay brown eggs.
Huh. That's interesting.
Uh-huh.
I have some friends that just got chickens in the near West End, and it sounds like it's a lot of fun. But the big chickens, they got 2 bigger hens, and then they got some babies, and the big ones were beating up on the babies, so they had to be separated. Yeah.
It's
My
a lot of
brother's
work.
had chickens since Chesterfield made it allowable, and he seems to be like the chicken master now. He's kind of figured it
Okay.
out. But I don't know, it's more work than I really want to take on. We have 4 dogs. That's plenty of
Yeah.
Well, we had
animals.
some friends that had some chickens.
and
Years
a hawk
ago.
and a raccoon kind of thinned
Yeah,
it out until
they-
there was none. And
They
then-
really
Oh.
had to, like, wildlife really.
That's
so they
sad.
just
Get
they
them.
didn't
I know.
they didn't start again because they were
Yeah.
like
It's too traumatic. You
Yes.
just gotta.
Yes.
Like eggs are cheap. Like I guess they're probably better if you raise them, but I don't know. I can't tell a difference. They all taste like eggs to me.
But also, like, if you have enough or have them long enough, they'll start. You have too many eggs, and then you have to figure out what to do with all these eggs, and
Yeah.
they're like,
Save them for Halloween.
hey, save me your egg cartons and give me. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, that's what I do with my cider. I'm like, hey, save your plastic 4 and 6-pack can toppers, and I'll trade you
But
back.
those don't take up much space. Like,
True.
to,
Yeah.
to save all your egg cartons, that's like.
Anyone listening, save your 4 and 6-pack cider toppers, and I'll return it with cider in it.
For a
How about
regular can size or any
4
can
or
size?
6-packs, the little plastic top things. Because I need a lot of them. You can tell.
Yeah, you do need a lot of them.
I'm ramping up the cider production because I don't know. I give it away faster than I can make it, so I need to
That's
like
his
make
hobby.
a lot.
Right. And so, how big of a tank?
So right now, if you look over kind of like behind everything, there's a handful of I think they're like 13 and 15 gallon,
Okay.
essentially kegs that I do it in. So if it's 15-gallon keg, I'll do 13 gallons in it because you need a little headroom.
And how long does the whole process take?
If you burn a rush, you could probably do it in like 2 weeks.
Okay.
But I make so much, I take my time. It just kind of sits and it doesn't really hurt. It's sitting.
So does it keep fermenting or does it?
It'll eventually hit a point where there's either not enough sugar, because
Okay.
all my ciders I go to completely dry, and the yeast usually are like tired and they just take a
They
nap.
just hang out.
Yeah.
Aww.
And then I put them in the refrigerator and then they really go to sleep.
Okay.
And I've just now started to play around with back sweetening, like the blueberry and then the kiwi one that you'll try at some point. To do that, you have to add some stabilizers. So when you add those sugar, essentially it's blueberry concentrate.
Okay.
It doesn't start fermentation again. Then you get exploding cans because the builds up CO2 and just like
Right. Huh.
and you get blue cider.
And what are the stabilizers just to be like, hey, yeast, you just look the other way?
More or less. So yeah,
Okay.
from what I've read, it doesn't kill them, but it makes it so they can't reproduce.
Okay.
So same purpose.
Sterilizes.
It's like potassium sulfate and potassium meta something innate.
Okay.
I don't know.
That's so meta.
I follow the instructions for people that actually know what they're doing.
Yeah.
I pretend, but it comes out pretty good.
Yeah.
What if
Um,
somebody
I just don't know the science. Like I can't break down the chemistry of
Yeah.
why it stabilizes, but I know it does, and I just follow the instructions on the bottle.
What if somebody is pro yeast?
Well, I'm pro yeast because we wouldn't have bread or wine or like half the delicious stuff without it. So I am pro yeast. And I don't think they die. I think they just end up wherever they end up, and then they probably just wake back up. I don't know.
Heaven.
Well,
We're
if
the shady
I
part.
clean it out the sink, it goes into the sewer system, it probably starts fermenting fun stuff down there, so who knows?
All right, I'm ready for cheese.
What else?
Okay.
What are the little cracker things?
Oh, these go with the cheese club. But I've really been trying to mix up the accoutrement because I got sick of dried fruit and nuts. Dried fruit right now is sort of dead to me. So these are roasted salted fava beans. And they're fun on a board and they give a lot of texture. I just sit around and eat them. Salt on them is nice. It's just something
Sorry, I took too many.
a little
Tastes more
different.
like, I guess like a cracker, but it's a bean, just dehydrated.
Yeah, it's just a roasted bean. So for gluten-free people, it's a nice little something.
He makes fun of me because I always like eating he calls it salty cardboard. Anything that's just plain and dry
Yeah.
and has salt on it, I could eat forever.
Yeah. I love them. I did a little bite today with the fava beans and some of the blue Decos and a little bit of the honey. It was really nice.
I
Which
also
is
appreciate the
totally
mixing up of the
Accoutrements.
accessories.
Yeah. I just felt like it was time, and I don't know, it makes it more fun. And it's also nice just to have something already packaged
Yeah.
that I don't have to
Oh,
repack.
you don't have to put in a little bag.
And it looks better. Like if I were going to get a cheese box, I want this and this as opposed to apricots and almonds or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, so and then the sour cherry spread. But so for cheese, our headliner this month, I'm going to move Mr. Butter over. Headliner is this guy. So this is a fresh goat from Caramont farm, right outside Charlottesville in Esmont, and then it's rolled in herb de Provence. It's my favorite, like hands down favorite.
Can you say it? Can you tell me again what it is before I
Okay.
tuned in at Herb de Provence? I'm sorry. What kind of
Before
cheese
that?
is it? Yeah.
So it's just a fresh goat, but this
Okay,
is
okay.
the best time of year to eat fresh goat because the babies have just been born, so the milk, the goats are in
Is it
milk.
the yellow milk?
It's not the colostrum.
Oh.
We're past colostrum, but it's that like full spring, grassy, wonderful milk. And
it.
it's like, I mean, it's like buttermilk deliciousness.
Somebody says these look like they'd be good in soup.
I'm seeing that my words at the bottom got a little cut off, but for this week or month, if you want to win a cheese and or butter box, text Truckle to 804-223-2032. You can be entered for the raffle like last time.
Fun.
It says Truckle, but didn't get the other quote, and then kind of like mushed together. I don't know why.
Well,
They know us.
let's try.
Hopefully your volume's on. Otherwise, you don't have a chance.
So you can see just this sort of fresh, pillowy goodness. And this farm, I also work directly with this farm, which is nice. But the woman, the cheesemaker, Gail Hobbs Page, was a chef, and then she turned cheesemaker. She's great to work with. Her husband Daniel delivers everything, and they also have goat snuggle sessions, which is
Stop it.
a big thing. So after kidding season starts, I mean, they get so many little baby goats, it sounds like, and you can pay to go out there and just spend some time playing with baby goats.
Have you heard of or seen goat yoga? You do like you're like doing yoga, but they have little baby goats and they're like climbing on your back because you're in like downward dog and stuff, and like jumping off of you, and like
So
it's
like
kind of the same
playful.
concept, but yeah.
That's fun.
Someone wants to know what the goat cheese is rolled in. They heard a French term. They said it looks like it's fennel.
Right, herb de Provence. There's some lavender, some fennel, rosemary. Let's see what else. It's just like if you buy it, it's always in a. Where did I put the wrapper? We can find all the.
We don't have any napkins in here. There's paper towels in there. It's very delicious.
I know, I love this. Thank you so much. Where did I put the little wrapper? But it's just like traditional.
Mika, you want some cheese?
Um,
Mika, right there.
Traditional French countryside kind of vibe to it. I really think the lavender comes through. It's sort of that nice subtle sweetness. And I also love the way this cheese looks. It's pretty on a board. It's super springy. So
It's very good. Very good.
I love it. And I actually didn't work with this farm until early pandemic. Which is sort of weird, and then we've had a good relationship since then.
Are they in Virginia?
They are. They're right outside Charlottesville. So, and they do some farmers
Mika's
markets.
not a fan of the beans. She spit it out. She was like, eh.
Did y'all see the video of the dog? I think it's a Japanese video. There's a golden retriever, and they're doing the cup game, and he
Picks one.
He
and
picks
it's like
one,
happy.
and there's a treat, and he's like, and then they pick up the cup on the other one, and they're like 20
handful.
treats, and so he spits out the one. You see, he has this moment, and he's like, "Damn it!" And he spits out the one.
You can see the crisis in his eyes. Like, he spit out the one he started to eat. He's like, no.
I want to trade.
I also think this one is really nice with the wine. So we're drinking a Sancerre, and we were talking earlier just about getting into white wine season and just sort of has a nice minerality that I think
It
goes
does.
well.
It does. Yeah.
Yeah.
This wine is very grapefruity. That's my extent of wine knowledge, but it's very good. Yeah, I feel like it pairs very well with the herbs. And when you said lavender, I can taste it, but I never would have guessed that.
Yeah, I'm
It's almost
bad at
like
it.
lavender lemonade. Like they pair very well together. The wine and the cheese.
I'm bad at identifying flavors, but then once someone says it,
Yeah.
I can taste it
Yeah.
immediately. I'm like, that's what
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
They can just be making it up, and I'll just think I tasted it, and I'm like, sure.
But if you're happy and they're happy, you know,
True.
no one's losing that game.
I'll try it with the bread.
Have you cuddled with the goats?
I have not. I really want to go visit the farm. I need to find a time to go out there. I just feel like for farms, kidding season or
It's
baby
like the
season is
busiest.
so crazy.
And you don't want to like.
I don't wanna be
intrude
like-
and be like, hey, can I check
Yeah.
things out? Yeah, I
Yeah.
get that.
So, and they also make some really great aged cheeses too,
Cuddling with baby goats, take my money.
right? Yep. I think they do good business with
Yeah,
baby cuddling.
I'm sure.
You know, to have something where you don't have inventory, it's a service.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Are goats cuddling? Like they cuddle back? Like, hey.
I think they're just baby, like
Yeah, I
playful
think-
babies.
Yeah,
You know.
Bobby likes to cuddle. She's a baby.
yeah.
You'll be shocked when you see her. She's so
giant.
big.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I don't know how much she weighed last time you saw her, but she's probably doubled.
Oh wow.
No, not in 2 months.
I don't know. 30 to 50-ish?
I don't know.
It's
Yeah, because she wasn't tiny last time.
She's the biggest dog now.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like visually, I guess maybe might be the biggest, but she's like skinny and she's like 10 pounds over her.
Will you pass me my phone? I want to show the baby cow. We went to Hardywood West Creek on Saturday. My parents had my niece and nephew, and they had like the Easter Bunny and a petting zoo and stuff. And
That's
this baby cow.
It just looks like every other baby cow, which is amazing.
It was so cute. What do you mean? Like,
Well,
I got
all
to,
baby cows
I got
are
to
cute.
look at his teeth. I got to pull his lip up.
Were
and,
his
like,
big teeth? Wait, you didn't tell me that part.
Yeah.
My big teeth are
Aw.
coming.
And
And
they're
he
all
was just
gangly.
laying there. He was just laying there like that. And I saw him from like across the field. And I was like, out of my way. It was magical.
That's fun. Was it crazy out there?
You know, it was
Well,
it was
parking was full.
busy. Yeah, parking
But-
was full. It was busy, but they have such a great space that
Yeah.
it was all very spread out. Like we found places to sit. They had a tent with live music. I never had to wait in line for a beer. There was multiple outdoor spaces and indoor spaces to get drinks. Plenty of seating. Yeah, it was. I was expecting a shit show, and I was pleasantly surprised that it was not a shit show.
I feel like they're very well run.
Yeah, I think they've done it enough times that they're like, they kind of get it.
We got
Also,
there
I liked
at like what? Noon?
1.
12 to 1, and the parking was full, but there's overflow across the street, which was, I don't know, what, a 5-minute walk? It wasn't long. if that.
Yeah, and that's like the only thing people are really going back there for, so it's not like you're like having to walk on a busy road or fight traffic or do anything.
Yeah, it's a short walk.
And they have a 21 and up area now, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say they have this fenced off area, which it's like, just like one of those 2-3-piece wooden fences, so just like a visual barrier.
Yeah.
But a bunch of seating, and it's 21 and over.
That's good.
And
Yeah.
everyone's like,
Smart.
Oh yeah, they had like this one.
they won't mind if we
seat-
bring these toddlers in there. And
Yeah,
you're
like around a big tree. It was one of the
yeah,
only
that's the
seats
point.
that were open, and my mom's like, "Well, we can sit right there." I was like, "It's 21 and over," and she was like, "Well, I mean, like they won't mind." I was like, "Yeah, they will.
Yeah.
That's the point."
Someone wants to know if goat or sheep cheese is less suited for aging than cow cheese.
Ooh, that's a good question.
Less suited for aging.
Like,
I mean,
I guess-
goat's milk has less fat. Sheep's milk is the fattiest of the three. And sheep yield the smallest amount of milk, which is why sheep's milk cheeses are usually much more expensive. So I feel like aging them for a really long time doesn't make a lot of, like, you don't see like a 3-year-old aged sheep
Right.
as much outside of like the pecorinos of the world.
Is it
But,
because the yield is more and like you want it to be fresher? Like they have to put something out if they just age half their stuff? Like, because you don't see a lot of like, I imagine when I think of aged, I think of harder cheeses.
Yep. So as it ages, it loses moisture. So, but you need something that can really hold up. I mean, you do have aged pecorinos, but I mean, you can age goat for a really long time too. I guess there's not like an established cultural cheese like pecorino in the goat world that I can think of. This aged like 2 years. I don't know. That's a good question, though. I don't know. And most super aged cheeses are those huge wheels. It would just take so much milk of goat or sheep to make. I mean, like an 80 to 90 pound wheel of parm. I mean, takes, I think it's 10 fluid gallons of milk for 1 pound of cheese, you know?
so if it's 80 or 90 pounds of cheese, was that like 900
Yeah.
gallons of milk?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. And to get that, I feel like most goat farms and sheep farms are smaller. You don't get those big industrial
Right.
or big co-op farms where you're pooling milk. So I feel like there's more
So
small batch.
We'll need to be big to age it. Like, is that something like the thickness so it can kind of keep its
So they're all sort of.
consistency instead of like little small pieces of cheese to age?
So if you have a huge wheel of cheese, say you have a parm and it's going to hang out for 2 or 3 years, you want as little moisture in there as possible. So to have something that big, if it had too much moisture in it, it would rot before.
And that's why you press it, right, to get the moisture out.
And also when you're cutting the curd. So on a big wheel like a parm, the curd is like the size of a grain of rice.
They want it as tiny as possible.
Right, to get as much moisture, because the more you cut the curd, the more of the whey liquid goes away. So like, but with something soft like, like with a brie, their curds are more like golf ball size because they just want to really coddle it. So you can make, Caramont makes an awesome aged goat, and it's a little wheel. It's probably 1.5 pounds maybe. And they figured out that moisture. I'm trying to think how old it is. It may be like a year. But I feel like goat and sheep lend themselves, especially in a smaller farm.
That makes sense.
You do the fresh stuff to turn a quick profit, but you also have stuff aging in the aging room. I think that's more of the American model. That's a good question.
Well, I want to eat some more cheese.
Okay.
What's next?
So, second cheese, this is Cantal. So it's French cow's milk. This is one of my favorite cheeses. It's good from breakfast to midnight. It's got enough going on where it's interesting. It has sort of a nice, it's like a yogurty tang. I eat it on sandwiches a lot. Slice this kind of like this.
I imagine with what at least visually appears to be a thinner rind, that's something that'd be fine to eat the rind or...
Yeah, this is fine. It has no coating on it, and what he's talking about, it just has this nice little bit of white mold that's sort of hanging out on there, and the texture is just from whatever cloth it was wrapped in.
I wish they would find a better term than mold, because it's just instantly like...
Yeah.
At least my brain is like... Ugh.
Flavor powder.
Sounds like cheese popcorn.
I've used some of that.
But also, so this cheese has been made since the time of the Gauls. It's been made for since 2,000 years, which is crazy.
The dinosaurs ate this, is what she's saying.
No, they milked dinosaurs to make it.
Mm-hmm.
They aged it 2,000 years.
So it's interesting and sort of weird that it's made in a cheddaring process. So to cheddar a cheese is you cut it in, once the whey's drained, you cut it into blocks, and you take a block and you put it on top, and the pressure helps drain the whey of the lower cheeses, and then you keep rotating them for like an hour or whatever. So this is a cheddared cheese, even though it's totally French. It's always, been French.
Is it better to try the cheese and then try the rind, or try the rind first?
I would try the cheese first.
Okay.
I always like
the other way around, but it still tastes good.
I always like to smell first too.
This does seem like a good sandwich cheese.
It's an awesome sandwich cheese. It's just good with
Enough
everything.
texture to
This is a good sandwich
hold up.
cheese.
It's not gonna crumble.
Yeah. It's Munstery.
I can see that,
To
like
me.
an American Munster. I just think, it has personality, but it's not.
It does have personality. It's got a great personality.
What are we pairing with it?
I think, this with the sunset, and I also brought this if you want to try the.
Is that for a specific cheese, or you just brought it?
I brought it for the first two, just as sort of a lighter. So as we're getting into warmer weather, just having lighter
So what is
summer
this
month
one? Hollis.
It's a
Munich
Helles.
style Helles.
lager, which is more golden colored. Has
That's a really good cheese.
I learned a
malts
lot
here.
about beer.
That's really good.
When I was in homebrew club for years, I was like, it sounds cool to be like a judge for beer, and I started studying, and I was like, it's a lot. It's a lot of work, it's a lot to know. Like the difference between straw yellow and like another type of yellow, and I'm like, it all looks yellow.
Yeah.
And then I realized I only like IPAs, so I'd rate every other beer poorly, and then all the IPAs the same. I'm like, I'm not a good judge. I decided to stop. But
yeah.
just to see like how fine of detail they take everything to fit the certain styles of like the color of the foam, the head. Like, is it white? Is it off-white? Like all this stuff. I was like, what? Like
Yeah.
that's a lot to, and I'm sure they're doing the same thing with cheese.
Have you ever been to a cheese competition?
A
I
cheese
have.
off?
So the big cheese competition is the Cheesemonger Invitational.
Get to be invited.
You have to apply for it. I've worked it because there's this whole separate. It usually takes place around Fancy Food, the Fancy Food Show, which takes place twice a year. And now there's another Cheesemonger Invitational in Chicago at another time.
Where's the original one?
New York. So the guy that owns, well, he's a principal. I'm not sure exactly what his ownership is. He's with Columbia Cheese, which is a pretty big importer, but he also, his family owns a cold storage place where when things come to the port of New York, everything goes to this cold storage.
Who pays for that? I'm sorry. Like the people shipping it, the city, or what? Or is it
For the cold storage?
Yeah. It's
I think
probably
it's all
whoever-
private.
Well, yeah, it might be like factored into the transportation cost.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry to go. Sorry.
Someone's paying for it.
Yeah.
The
We're
taxpayers.
paying for it in the end.
The consumers.
Yeah. I
Got
mean,
it.
we're all paying for everything. Everything. I mean, we've all seen prices go up over it. Like, I went to the grocery store today and I was like,
Are you noticing
You
it
know.
for all the cheeses you're
yeah,
doing?
absolutely. It just sort of is what it is, you know. But we also have a lot more problems at the ports now because if they don't have labor to truck the cheese away, or if there's a big cluster at the port, then I had 2 months worth of cheese that I expected at a certain time,
I think
and it
you
was
told me
either
that.
caught in the Atlantic just waiting to get into port, or it was stuck waiting for FDA approval because they pull random pallets and test them. So everything, if you're expecting cheese, you can tack on an extra 3 weeks just to be safe. And there's nothing, it's safe, it's just hanging out. So you can't be like, it's screwed up
It's
too,
aging more.
you know. But it's like everything, it's just, there's an extra layer of difficulty in doing
Inflation, supply
business,
chain.
you know. Like you were talking about with real estate, it's just, everything is a little bit harder
Right.
for the same return. And I've been really hesitant to pass on the
cost.
cost because in my head, there's a certain, people will accept a lot, but there's a certain price point where people are like, I'm not going to spend X for a pound of cheese or a quarter pound of cheese. So it's a hard line to,
I would spend literally my life savings for some cheese. Like if I could live with one, like,
One
I would
what?
do one food for the rest of my life. Cheese. Easy.
yeah, me too.
Easy.
Yeah.
I just love it. What are your thoughts on queso from Mexican restaurants?
They're not great.
Every cheese
That's
has
fine.
its place.
I'll eat
Every
enough for
cheese
both.
has its place.
It is made with white American, which is like the most uncheese of all cheeses.
I think it's really
delicious.
thin a lot of the time.
Sometimes it can be, yeah.
I don't know what I don't know. I'm not well versed in the making of the queso, but
It's mostly white American with like peppers and I don't know. She's
Milk
made it.
and
And it's come
jalapenos
out
and-
pretty similar to the restaurants. I like it. It tastes good.
and I feel like
That's how
they're
I judge
different.
things.
If you're
My tongue
using
happy.
better ingredients,
Right.
you know, it's like nacho cheese
the
at the ballpark or
best
whatever. You're like, what do you,
Speaking of,
you know,
How is the jar of fig?
that's what I got Lauren
It's
for Christmas
sour
was a
cherry
nacho
spread.
cheese machine.
We
Oh,
asked
yeah.
her last time, and she did
She was like,
Not
nah.
care to eat orange cheese.
don't
What's the
blame you.
best melting cheese?
Like a fondue or.
I like
So is that fig?
it's
That's
sour
just cherry.
cherry.
Sour cherry. Have you brought a fig over? Was that last time?
I don't know. Ooh, I like this beer. I like that.
I tried it. There's so many knives.
That is delicious because you've sent us that before and other
like that.
stuff, and it's
Yeah.
very, very good.
I like that it's a little more tart instead of sweet, but I think that
Let's
would
dip
be
the bread
really
in
good
it. Yeah.
with the Cantal,
There's
and
some
also
revenue.
awesome with the blue.
I'm just squishing this and ruining it terribly. I'm sorry. Sorry, amigo. Sorry, everybody.
Is this our butter?
All this is ours, I think.
Yep.
Okay, because I'm gonna do that.
What? Butter, jam.
There's jelly on the butter. Hold on, if I do one more wipe, it'll get it off.
There you go. I need
this
a little
make you
room,
cringe?
please.
No.
I'll try.
What?
Oh.
Oh yeah, you should see us when you're not here. It's just,
Shut up.
it's just like
We're mostly
crumbs
civilized.
flinging around everywhere.
Mostly civilized. It's good with the butter because the butter's salty, and that's got like the sweetness.
Yeah. Plus, I love the size of these little. It's like you sort of feel like you're staying in a nice hotel. You know, and it's enough where you can have a little, but it's not
Overwhelming.
You know, you don't need a 12-ounce jar of
Right.
that for a cheese
Right.
plate.
And it like fits perfectly on a cheese plate, things like that, instead of a bigger jar. And you're like, well, do I scoop some out into a little
Right.
dish or?
Yeah, I like these a lot.
Yeah, that's really good.
I don't normally eat jam, but I could eat all that jam.
Do you have like a catalog? That I'm just so. I feel like I ask you the same
Is there a
questions every
cheese
time.
club that's weekly?
No,
I think she wants to
no.
know.
No,
Not
I
a
just want to
monthly,
know
but
like
a weekly.
how like the process of choosing your cheeses. Like you know we get those like office supply catalogs with like they're like that thick. That's just what I imagine.
Like the U-line.
Yes, exactly.
The
You just
U-line.
pick
Exactly.
out the picture, though.
I don't.
It's
I'm
easier to
sure it
taste.
has a description. Well, she doesn't get a sample of every cheese ever
Yeah.
She's
I
working
order
on it.
I order a lot
She's-
of cheeses
that you've never tried.
pretty blind. Like I do research on them, and if I trust the producer, then I'm like, it's probably going to be good. And every now and then I'm disappointed, but for the most part, I mean, a lot of cheese is seasonal, so that's part of it. But sort of keeping a healthy balance of what's moving through the case, figuring out holes, and how to fill them.
Do you still sell or serve the ones that disappoint you?
It depends. I mean, there are some cheeses that are not my favorites, but people love them
Right.
and they have their place, and so I sell those.
Right.
Because I'm there to make people happy with cheese, and if
Right.
it's,
Everybody has different.
it can't
tastes.
be my personal taste all the time.
Right.
But
Could there
And
be
if
a
they're
greater
selling at that
purpose on
scale,
Earth
if
than
they're
that?
selling at that scale, like clearly enough people like. them.
yeah, and that's fine, you know, because it should be cheese for everybody, not just cheese
for
that
me,
you know.
and I'll share.
Right.
Did you
keep
hear what she
notes?
said? I'm here to make people happy with cheese.
Yeah.
And I said, is there a greater purpose on Earth?
Do you like take notes on all the ones that you order and try, or like after your research, you like order it because
Yeah.
the research holds up, but then you get it and you're like, oh no, and
Those are more like mental notes. I have my little workbook Bible, you know, that I keep all of my scribblings in, and I keep all of those at home. But if I've really had a cheese where I'm like, it didn't live up to the hype. It's like burned in my memory.
The hype was too high. And
Yeah,
you're just like-
or something was wrong, or But for the most part, everything I get, I love. And most of the case are cheeses that I carry because I love. But you got to have some of the crowd pleasers because
right.
they have their place. So
Is Blue Bee getting, I guess, busier with the nice weather, and therefore busier?
yeah, I mean, fall and springtime are
the
the
big
best because people want to be out.
Mm-hmm.
Last year was super crazy because I think everyone had just gotten their shots, and there was a real drive to like break out. But yeah, I mean, good weather. People just want to walk around and drink and eat, and we're there for it. You know.
That's awesome.
So.
That's really cool.
Do y'all want to talk about the blue?
Yes.
Talk about or eat?
Eat.
Both?
Talk about it. You eat, and I'll talk about it. So this is Blue Decos.
That's fun.
So it's a French blue. Super creamy. These wheels came in really with a little bit more funk. And if you see, I remember cutting this piece.
Specifically this one?
Specifically,
because
I took a picture. I can show you.
You set
This,
this one aside, like this one has the funkiest blue for Alex and Lauren.
I don't know if you can. I don't think you can see these big pockets. It's like an alien planet in there.
So like,
I wonder if we get closer. Oop, wait.
no, it'll lose focus. But we can look. So there's like white
It's
dots.
like a galaxy.
yeah, it is like a galaxy. It's so cool. And I tried to get pictures on my phone, and it didn't turn out.
Let me try.
Horton says big kudos to the Truckle crew for recommending them some 1924 blue. It's become one of their favorites.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites too. And I didn't have that for a long time. It just came back, which is awesome. So that's another French blue that's a cow sheep blend. But if you like the 1920
cow sheep blend,
if you like the 1924, you should stop in for a taste of the Blue Decos. But it's from the Languedoc region. It's creamy. It's buttery. It's like southern. My geography is bad. But the reason it's called Languedoc is because instead of saying oui, they say oc, which is sort of cool.
Instead of saying yes. What?
Instead of saying oui for yes or way, they say oc. So that's why, because long is like tongue.
Well, you can zoom in and see the crystals.
Oh, yeah.
Or whatever it is.
Anyway, this is just like a classic French go-to. It's called Poor Man's Roquefort.
I like to describe blues as, is it so good I might cry?
Yeah.
And if it is, then I really want to try it.
Yeah.
I remember when I was a waitress, when I first became a waitress, you give everybody all their salad dressing options, and like most of the old people would ask for Roquefort dressing, and I learned that they meant blue cheese dressing, and I never got it, and then now I connect the two, but they're still different. Like blue cheese and
there's something in people's head. It's like people say, "Is gorgonzola like a blue?"
Is blue.
Yeah.
It's like champagne, right? It's from a certain.
Well, so they're all
area.
blue. It's just gorgonzola is Italian cow's milk. Roquefort is sheep's milk.
Oh.
But French, but
it's the proper way, or doesn't matter.
We have one that hasn't been used.
Oh, okay. That's too little.
No,
so you know what? If y'all are gonna keep the rest of this, I would cut it in half, and then.
Here, I'll let you do it.
Okay. So like if I'm eating.
She does this for a living, people.
If I'm eating cheese just at home with my husband, it's better just to cut off a little.
Some for me, some for you.
Which is
a little, and so you can rewrap this in the cheese paper and save that, so it's not all sort of mangled and weird. And then I would cut off of that. So.
Smart.
Anyway, it just, you get more cheese for your cheese that way.
More cheese for your cheese.
So I'll push that over.
I'll eat that very blue piece.
I'm gonna eat it with my bread. Because
it'll be like the honey where it'll like trip me up.
the word mold is still just...
This would also
It's
be
not
great
mold,
with
it's
the honey.
flavor powder. Still doesn't
But like,
quite have
that's
the same
so...
ring.
Like, look at that
It's delicious.
blue.
Oh,
Is
that's
that?
a little piece of, it comes wrapped in foil.
Oh, okay. So that's... I was like, that is really blue. Okay.
A little piece of foil.
That's okay.
I love the texture of this cheese. It's a little bit, these wheels are just a little bit funkier, so it just has a little more pop to it. But this, and we don't have a sweet anything like this with a sweet white, like knock your socks off.
Like a Riesling or something?
Yeah, like a Gewürztraminer or something, or a Sauterne. But sort of an easy version of that. If you do it with a little honey or a little sour cherry, you get that sweet blue pop, which just, it's like it hits everything.
Mm-hmm. I love blue cheese more than most cheeses.
Mm-hmm.
I love a lot of cheese, but there's a special place for blue.
I know.
Yeah.
Blue is by far my favorite family. Like, if most blue cheeses, they're really good one. They stop me in my tracks every time.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, yeah, somebody sold him a cheese one time and said, I have a blue so good it'll make you cry.
And that's
And
why
that's
that's why I
his
keep using it.
Somebody says, do you have a go-to variety of cheeses when you're trying to introduce family and friends to the world of cheese?
I think
Blue with heat. I wonder if that means like spice.
Yeah.
for the introduction question, I say sort of ask people, and this is what we do at the shop too. If somebody comes in, they're like, I don't really know much about cheese, but I like cheese. So we say, what kind of cheese do you like?
The second one would be
Yeah.
perfect for
Yeah.
anybody.
And then you try to just shift them, because people would be like, well, I really like medium cheddar. And you'd be like, well, try this. So I think
Try
sticking
this
with stuff
extra
that's...
sharp cheddar.
approachable and has a bit of a different flavor profile, and then that can sort of open it up. I wouldn't go straight to a wash dry and like funk bomb.
So it's like a Venn diagram. Like they say they're like this, and you give them something that like is different but kind of overlaps.
Yeah, if you can figure out what they like in the flavor profile, then that gives you a much more direct hit. But like in the shop, if we miss it the first time, we have a zillion other things to try. So I think it's just like trying to figure
come
out.
in and sample.
Yeah, you can always sample
So,
before you buy.
Eric, you and your family come to the shop and just try cheeses
Yeah.
until you find something you like.
Have you ever met somebody that said they didn't like cheese?
Yeah, they're out there.
That's terrifying.
I know. They walk
Because
among
they're
us.
allergic,
though.
or
I think some people just haven't found their cheese. I
it's
don't
like
know.
a soulmate. It's like a food
Yeah.
they've only
soulmate.
tried white American.
Yeah, if you've only eaten
If you've only
junky
eaten Cracker
cheese.
Barrel cheddar,
Yeah.
yeah,
I still like that though.
I know. But
You
like
know,
growing
and that
up,
has its place too.
like that was the fancy cheese.
Yeah, Cracker Barrel was fancy.
Right?
Where I grew up too.
Yeah, and especially
The
if you get
white
one that's
cheddar with the black wrapper.
Yes, and you can kind of see through it.
Yeah.
And then they started making the ones that are like pre-cut up in those perfect little pieces.
I don't like those though because of the health information. It's like you just ate 4 ounces of cheese and you're like, I don't think I did. But with this, you're like, I'm just eating little bites.
No one's measuring
Yeah,
or
yeah.
judging here.
This is, I'm just tasting. Just tasting.
So yeah, what was the other, something about heat?
Oh,
Love
somebody,
blue
they said
with
they
some
love blue with heat.
By heat, do you mean like funk?
Hot sauce,
Like,
is what I imagine. Or,
Just mean like
or like
funk?
melting it, because blue does melt good. Like,
I put it on burgers a lot.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it melt. I wouldn't call the term melt, but maybe.
I like
don't
it
know.
hot.
Yeah.
But I imagine he means like spicy.
Maybe
I don't know,
said it's like a geode with flavor crystals in it. It was kind of like a geode.
So also with blues, I don't know if we've talked about this before, but see these lines, sort of striations. So when blue cheeses are made, the Penicillium roqueforti or whatever, there are a few different strains, but that's the most popular blue cheese mold. It's put into the milk, and then when they make the wheels, they're little baby white wheels just hanging out, but the mold can't develop until it's oxidized.
So they poke holes in it?
Yeah, with like shish kebab kind of
That's
deals.
fun.
And so that's why in a lot of them you can see the lines.
dots,
and
or-
then
No,
from
the straight
Oh, that
line,
right
yeah.
there.
and you can also
Oh,
see
this right here.
on the
Yeah.
outside where they poked them in.
Oh, that's cool.
So and then once the oxygen starts going, and then it spreads through the little caverns of cheese pockets, which is cool.
It's like when they sour beers. Like a sour beer. They add the bacteria to it and allow oxygen and let it do its thing. Just you can't see it as much, but you can taste it.
So like when they leave it, they'll leave it on the roof. I've heard of
The Veil
breweries
has
doing that.
a cool ship or whatever they call it. But yeah, that's how it used to be made. Back in the day, they would have, well, with beer they call it wort. So it's like sugar water. So you grind up the grain, you soak water in it, you pull the grain out. So all the sugars and the color from the grain are in there. And then, like what we do for home brewing and professional brewing, you introduce specific yeast to it, control the
Okay.
environment. But you couldn't do that however many years ago. I'm like a very unscientific, where you're like saying all the exact things when it comes to cheese. But for the beer, yeah, it's just wild yeast. Whatever's floating around in the air, just let it ferment until it's done, and then they drink it, and it was safer than water.
Do you know the history? I mean, I know like there probably isn't much, but to think of what brave soul, how the
Decided.
cheese got so moldy, and then some brave soul decided,
So-
let me actually try that.
Have we
and
talked
then was
about-
like, it's really good. You should try it too.
The blue cheese origin story.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Or we tell it every time we're here. I don't remember.
So lots of cheese. There's sort of cheese mythology where like this happened, and that's
Who's the
why
cheese goddess?
Yeah.
You.
Well,
Okay.
you know.
There should be one.
So there are sort of these fantastical tales on why cheese was made in a specific way. So the blue cheese origin story
Okay.
is that there was a shepherd hanging out with his sheep, and he's eating his lunch, which is bread and cheese, in the mouth of a cave. And this gorgeous woman walks by, and he follows her. They have mad passionate night. He comes back the next day ravenous from all the lovemaking, and he goes to see his food, and his cheese is blue and moldy, and he's like, I don't care, I'm starving. And so he eats it, and he's like, this is the best thing ever. And that's how blue cheese was created. So like in traditional,
it is that magical.
Can it go
It
blue
is that
in one night?
magical.
yeah, mold can really jump. Even managing a case, figuring out, you can see where that guy over there has spread his mold to this guy over here. So that's why, we're constantly cleaning cheeses just because.
You don't have like a separate blue case?
If I have more space, I do.
Yeah.
But a lot of people separate them, but all of our blues are over to the side. And then the bloomies sort of stick together in their zone. But, yeah. Anyway, so, mold jumps like crazy. But in the most traditional, there are only 2 places that still make Roquefort in the most traditional way, which is to take an enormous loaf of bread, put it in a cave, wait for it to mold like crazy, and then they just like dust it up over the cheese make. And so
Like into the milk or like.
yeah. But there are only 2 places, because that's just which is the exact story of like the shepherd leaving his
Right.
bread there,
Wow.
which is cool. But there are only 2 of those, and there are only 7. I think it's either 6 or 7. I think it's 7 Roquefort producers in the world, just because of regulations.
So they would use bread mold. But I guess mold could grow on anything, but it's probably different molds. Then
Yeah,
probably
I think,
different regions of the world have different mold.
yeah, absolutely.
It's just
And that goes
much
into
more
the
of a
whole.
variable.
Everything in the environment contributes to the
yeah.
flavor of the cheese or the beer or the wine or the everything. It's all
Just like whatever the animal is eating contributes to the
Yeah.
taste of that. Huh.
yeah, it's amazing. It is like
like
magic.
the
It's like once you see
water
it, the whole world
makes
goes into focus.
Yeah, like
Pizza in New York or the
the
bagels,
bagels
the
better?
better.
Do people like goat or sheep owners import like grass or hay or whatever from like other countries to feed their stuff so they yield a different milk?
I think that's sort of like a.
Sounds like something Americans would do.
It does sound like something.
What? You try to
Like
replicate
cheating.
something from Europe.
So there is, like, in a bunch of the European cheese laws, it's written that they can only eat fresh grasses from this area of land. They can't eat silage, which is like winter. It's like cereal that they eat in winter, So for the cheese to be made from, I don't know, June through September, they can really subsist just eating fresh grasses and stuff. So there are laws around that, but you could ship it. It just seems not cost effective to.
Well,
but
the
it
American
would,
dream is going into debt, so.
So,
Okay.
but absolutely, what they eat affects how it tastes, and even so from winter milk to summer milk. So when they're eating grasses and flowers and herbs, there's a lot more carotene in their milk, so it's yellowy orange. So you can see the same cheese, but one made in
6 months apart from each
June
other.
and one made in December. And the December one is a much whiter paste, and the June one is this big sort of sexy orangey yellowy thing. So that's how we started adding annatto to
Cheddars and
cheddars,
stuff.
because it was seen as healthier, because it was lush summer product.
That was like the desirable.
Yeah.
Do you try to avoid cheeses that have that added just because it's not necessary, or is it just kind of like more tradition at this point? Doesn't really do much except.
It's okay. There's a really good. Have you had Shropshire Blue?
I don't think so.
It's a Neal's Yard cheese, and anything Neal's Yard touches is good in my books. But it's a Stilton recipe, but they add annatto to it. So it's orange with blue, and it tastes great. The annatto doesn't change the flavor.
Right.
I
it
have
just
no
like
beef.
catches people's eyes, so they're more likely to pick it up.
Yeah, I mean, people think it's weird. They're like, why is
Right.
that blue cheese?
Right.
Is it a lot of people are like, is that a cheddar that's
I feel
gone
like
bad?
we've had an orange with blue at one point.
Huntsman is another popular. So that's Gloucester, double Gloucester. So it has the orange, and then the middle is Stilton.
I think
Or
we've
so-
had
yeah.
something like that.
That's a popular one too,
So,
because it's pretty mild.
I'm now
compared to
realizing it's 8. We've been on for an hour.
Horton
And-
wants to know if you've had one of the 2 traditional Roqueforts from the original kind, where they.
I have. I mean, it's awesome. It's
You have?
yeah.
That's amazing. How do
Um,
you like? I don't know. Okay.
Tell
I guess I'm imagining you like in the cave and they're like handing it to you, but I realize that that's not what happened.
No, one of them I can
Was
get.
in the cave.
I can get sometimes, not all the time, but Roquefort Carl is one of the 2, and we've had it. I don't know, maybe twice in the last couple of years because you can't always get it, and things are harder now. But
Are your children named after cheeses? Like, do you have a Colby? And if you had a girl, would you name her Brie?
no,
Oh.
my kids are named Bern and George,
Those are. I like that.
not cheese related. Because I feel like that would drive them farther away from
away.
cheese. You know.
You
Not if they know what's good for 'em.
start calling me grilled. Grilled cheese.
Grilled cheese.
Yeah. For the giveaway, I did a random, and Kim Stinger, congratulations! You
I
just
know
won
her.
a cheese and butter box.
Yay, Cam.
So we
Cheese
have your.
and or cheese or.
I don't know.
Okay.
I kind of said both. That's
Yeah.
what we did last time.
We can do both. We'll
So-
have it ready for you.
For you have enough to do April's. Well, there you go.
Stop
You
on
gotta
by.
pick
So
it up.
I will text you.
Also, while you're there, you should get a frosé cider from Blue Bee.
Oh, yeah.
They have those now. They're so good.
They
They're
are
so
good. They're so good.
It's so good that I bought a frosé machine.
Did you really?
Yeah, it's inside. We've only busted out once so far this season, but it saved me during the heat last year. Saved my life.
So, and do you just add in your cider? Do you
So I
have
just
to
add my cider in, and then I do Crescent Simples. I
Okay.
don't know if you're familiar with their simple syrups. Like, so it's about like a bottle per gallon. I'll put in there,
Okay.
and it flavors it perfectly.
It's kind of like, I mean, there's different settings. It's almost like one of those like margarita machine things that you
Uh-huh.
see at a restaurant,
Slurpee
but bigger.
machine.
But like the alcohols and sugars make it a perfect slushy. And if there's kids, we'll make one with like, I don't know, some soda and juices and stuff. But that obviously freezes up a lot quicker, so
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
more
You gotta
of a
play with the temperature.
babysitting
Yeah.
situation. Like you have to watch the machine. But yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. Frosé is like on a hot day, there is nothing
There's
better.
nothing better. Nothing better.
It's probably more expensive on the front end, but if you drink as many as we do, in the long run, it'll be cheaper than just only getting from
Okay.
Blue Bee.
Yeah, because Blue Bee's not the cheapest. Good.
They put in high quality stuff,
I do think that they have the best
but I'm able to make my cider for dirt cheap.
outdoor venue, best outdoor
The Stone.
space in
Yeah.
the city.
Yeah,
Yeah. Where,
big.
where do you get your juice?
Costco,
Okay.
just the Kirkland's juice.
Okay. Just by the gallon?
Well, so if you order it online, you can spend at least $75. They'll bring it to you for free. So I
Okay.
order like 30, 40 gallons at
They
a time.
delivered some today.
And the UPS man probably hates
Or was
me.
that what got delivered today?
It was some
FedEx.
juice and tissues. They didn't bring the toilet
He
paper.
had a dolly.
Or the hot sauce.
Oh, he had like a dolly, and it was full of like these big boxes of apple juice that I know are really freaking heavy. And he was like trying to like turn it around.
Oh man, to get
And
up
he
that
couldn't-
driveway.
Yeah, well, he was like
Well,
backed
normally
up
people
halfway.
back up. I don't know, every delivery driver, some drop it at the bottom. Some just
Okay.
mark it as undeliverable and don't even try.
Oh man.
It's weird here. And then for
Yeah.
like the first 6 months, like the USPS wouldn't recognize this as a valid address.
Because it was new construction.
Because that added a
Yeah.
whole new like headache of problems.
Yeah. I was impressed though. He was able to like eventually like he had to like almost kick off of his truck and like turn the dolly around and then get a running start. I was about to get over
Oh,
there and
man.
just help him pull it because I know that the driveway sucks, but
I don't know if I drive one of those big trucks up here.
Oh,
Do
God,
they
no.
do it?
Some drivers just roll on up, others park at the bottom, some park halfway up.
Yeah.
I have a friend who's worked for USPS, but in a different state. But she says that they're technically not supposed to or allowed to back up in their mail trucks, which I've seen mailmen do it.
Yeah.
But because they could like hit stuff. But that makes me wonder about the other drivers. I don't know. I guess.
Huh.
I met the UPS driver at the bottom of the hill one time, or I was going to take the dogs on a walk and he was there. And I was like, you just leave it right there. And he was like, oh my God, thank you so much. You just made my day. And now I feel bad every time he has to walk up the hill because it made his day that he didn't have to walk up it that one time.
Wow, his glutes
I know.
thank him every time he has
free
to
exercise.
do it, you know?
Mm-hmm. I want to offer him like my phone number and be like, just like text me or call me and say you're leaving something there and I'll come get it. Don't worry about it. I'll drive my car down. I'll meet you at the bottom of the hill.
So I don't mind when people leave stuff at the bottom, but then one time we ordered our brand new phones. It was supposed to be like signature only from UPS. And you know, I got like a notification. I was like, delivered. I was like, I didn't sign for it. And then I look outside. I'm like, I don't see it. I'm like looking around. I'm like, what? And then I see it at the bottom of the driveway. And I'm like,
Yeah.
at least bring up the driveway if it's supposed to be signed. But
That's
Yeah.
the
it's
guy.
fine.
Don't worry
well,
about
no one's
it.
stealing stuff here, but
One
we're not
thing,
the
we
city.
don't get solicitors.
We're in the city, but we're not in the city.
That's Are you technically in the city?
We're taxed, yeah.
Wow.
Like,
Oh. Yeah. I hear that. I'm in the
the
city. also.
I was gonna say, you are too,
$1.2 per thousand tax rate.
My email to Kristen Larson sure worked 3 months later.
She didn't see it.
I
She
know.
deleted it.
What is that?
Our like culvert at the bottom of our driveway was like collapsing, and so the rainwater gets stuck, and so like I put in a 311 request and like just a
Nothing.
bunch of requests, and then eventually we have a friend that
Used to work at City Hall, and she's like, email your city
yeah,
council
she was
person.
like the squeaky wheel.
So she
That's
did.
the
No
grease.
response, nothing. 3 months later, I think we just finally made it to the top of the list. And now here we are a month later. They haven't done anything, but at least they communicated.
They like came and spray painted some marks on the ground, and I think they're
I don't
like,
think that was associated with us.
oh,
I don't know.
I thought it was. I
It's
thought
like
it was
the whole
just like
street.
their pacifier.
I don't know. But yeah, everything, this whole area, all the way up behind like Stony Point, all that.
Okay.
If you search like on Google, like City of Richmond, you'll see the whole South Side like
Okay.
thing that they annexed like in the 60s or 70s.
Okay. And why did they annex it? Just cut? Tax?
I just assume everything's because of money.
Yeah.
So wait, so did Richmond give it to Chesterfield, or Chesterfield gave it to Richmond?
I think Richmond annexed it, which like took it from Chesterfield. They're like, we want this now.
Because Richmond was here first.
I don't really know.
Huh.
Before my times. But yeah, we pay lots of taxes, but so does everybody in the city of
Yeah.
Richmond.
Yeah.
Better than Petersburg. Petersburg is higher
Really?
Huh.
than Richmond. So Richmond's $1.20 per thousand, and then I think Petersburg is like $1.35.
What's Chesterfield and Henrico?
Chesterfield's like 95 cents, and Henrico's like 87 cents.
Hmm.
But price per square foot, things are higher in Henrico, at least Western Henrico, than Chesterfield.
Okay.
You can ask me any question. They're like, why is it like this? I can just be like, someone, money, something. That's
It's always money.
makes the world go around, apparently.
Weird.
Inflation.
Supply chain.
Supply chain issues.
The Suez Canal.
That was like one time for like a week.
But it's still, I mean, you knew what I was talking about.
Well, the ship turned.
That
Didn't
was
another
a year
ship get
ago.
stuck
That was over
somewhere?
a year ago. Isn't that insane to
That
think
feels
about?
like
Yeah.
multiple years ago.
No, it feels like it was like 3 months ago.
I do feel like time is warped.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes.
That's the one thing pandemic screwed forever. I feel like I'm starting to get used to it now.
I'm
But for a
not.
while,
I'm
it's
just,
just
like
like-
aware that it's changing, but I'm like don't care enough to like keep up with things. I think as much as I used to. Like time, I don't know.
It's a man-made construct.
Yeah, like I accept time as a thing, but I don't respect it.
It doesn't respect you.
I know it doesn't. That's why I don't respect it back. It's fine.
All right, what has everyone watched on Netflix or Hulu? We're all about
best-
these.
Oh my gosh, have y'all watched Severance on Apple?
No.
No.
Oh my gosh, you have to watch.
Really?
I'm not at the end yet, but I can't stop thinking about it.
What is it about?
It's Adam Scott, Ben Stiller. Is
I love
one of
Adam
the-
Scott. Adam
Ben
Scott
Stiller.
is Ben Wyatt.
Yeah,
Is he directed it, right?
he's one of the
Because
executive
I heard Howard
producers,
Stern
and
talk
I think
to him about it.
I think he directed it too. It's so good, but it's like people decide to get severed, so they have a little chip put in, so their work life is totally separate from their home life. John Turturro's in it. Christopher Walken's in it. It's amazing.
So
I
what
wanna
genre
watch
is it?
It's
Not a comedy, but
yeah,
a dramedy.
it's
Is
yeah.
it funny? Do you laugh at all, or is it all just like?
You laugh a little bit,
the
but it's
heck?
mostly because it's so strikingly depressed. So they've sort of
So real, it's depressing.
so I don't know.
You love it.
Warren says it's so good.
It's so good.
Yeah, very excited. So
Um,
I kind of want to start it tonight.
You should. I mean, I was working late
It's
last
almost my
night, so we didn't get our
birthday, so
episode.
I can do whatever I want.
Wait, it's your birthday?
Friday.
Oh, happy birthday!
How old do you think I am?
I'm not gonna answer that.
It's fine. I'm a dude.
No. Still though.
I don't know. I had one person guess today, and they guessed it exactly right.
Okay.
37.
Okay.
Well, on Friday, but I feel like I look 37.
I see you every day.
What are y'all watching?
The Netflix, what is it called? National Parks with Barack Obama as
Oh,
the
is that
voiceover.
good?
Oh, it's so good. It's like
It's
just like a Planet Earth.
Planet
but
Earth, but like
If
I
there's
don't know,
anybody that can
make you feel
hold a
like things
candle
are
to Morgan
okay.
Freeman narrating documentaries,
Okay.
it's Barack
You just
Obama.
imagine it's like pre 2018.
Like his voice is just so soothing.
Yeah.
It just like gives you like the good kind of goosebumps, and like you're just watching these animals, but like they're like almost dying, but then they end up living, and you're like, yeah.
Thank you, Nikki.
It's
She said happy birthday.
yeah. I don't. It's
Okay.
good.
I
I've
can watch
watched it like
that with my kids.
Yes,
too.
I've watched it like 3 times already. I watched it with my old people.
Oh,
That's
wow.
pretty much.
And then she watches
Okay.
it with me.
And then I come home and watch it with him. I can't. It's just. It's fascinating. Like I feel like one of those where I can tune out, but I'm still watching, but then also catch different things
Yeah.
each time
I'll check
because I
that.
go more in depth.
Did you watch the My Octopus Teacher?
I started, but it was kind of weird. So I don't remember. It was.
It was. I mean, the guy is weird.
I didn't get very far. I think I just.
I
kept
loved it
going.
though. I wept.
Really?
At the yeah.
Aw.
Somebody.
Oh. Sorry, you bleeding now?
No. Somebody. I saw something about this movie that said it's incredible. Everything, everywhere, all at once.
Oh, I saw something about that. It looks good.
Apparently
it's in the
it'll,
theaters now.
Oh, is
I
it?
think so. I don't know if they also put it online.
I can't remember.
Yeah. Apparently, it just makes you rethink everything about life and nothing matters and to enjoy
It
your
also
time.
has 2
I
years
mean,
Eat
of
more
pandemic,
cheese,
wouldn't it?
right?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Horton wanted to know what the best string cheese. I feel like all string cheeses
that
are
a-
mozzarella, right? Because they're
I think
stringy.
he's referencing that because he knows we're going to the concert tomorrow.
Did you know Alex's favorite band is called String Cheese Incident?
They used to play where I went to college.
Where'd you go to college?
Swanee,
Was that?
Florida.
Tennessee. It's
Oh,
in
Tennessee.
Yeah.
Oh, Sewanee, the festival. I thought that was.
I thought they did that in Florida.
That's what I
That's
thought.
Halloween.
No, I just went to a
Sewanee
small liberal arts school in Tennessee, but I mean it was a while ago, so maybe they weren't as big. But they used to play
They've been
just
around
at like
for
random.
decades.
My brother found them. He used to live in Telluride, Colorado.
Okay.
I need
And
to
he worked at a
use the restroom. I'll be
hotel.
back, and I'm gonna get more wine.
That they would
Yeah.
play at frequently because I guess I don't know if they're from Colorado or they just were there a lot.
Okay.
But I guess this was, I'm trying to remember the years, in the late 90s.
Yeah. So I was in college like late '90s, early 2000s.
So he was there and they would come through. And so I would go out and visit him in Colorado and then he moved to Lake Tahoe. A lot of my music influences was from my older brother. I looked up to him. And just over time, it just became my favorite band. Seen them countless times. And they just happen to be playing in Charlottesville tomorrow
Oh,
on my
fun.
birthday eve. So So we're going up to see that. A bunch of my friends are going. My friend who's getting married next week from California flew in to like see them.
Oh, wow.
Just because.
And so were you all staying there too?
Just the night, yeah, Charlottesville.
That's fun.
Then that Saturday we're having a little wedding shindig thing here for people that can't go to the actual wedding next week.
That's great. It's
Yeah.
a nice few days.
So starting off pretty much with this.
You know?
And then tomorrow I go to Charlottesville, see String Cheese. Friday, Lauren will drive me home hungover. I mean, I'm hungover, she'll drive.
Yeah.
Saturday, hang out with a bunch of friends here, so
Oh, that's great.
got a good couple days ahead of me.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. But that's why I'm guessing maybe that's why he said best string cheese. If he's looking for a song, I would go with my two favorite songs are covers. I Know You Rider, which is a Grateful Dead song.
Okay.
And then I forget the name of it. Talking Heads, Naive Melody. This
Huh.
must be the feeling. So like my two favorite songs of theirs are covers of other people's, but they play them better than they did, at least in my opinion.
I'll have to. I haven't heard them in years and years, but I heard something on the radio on WNRN. Maybe they were talking about it. About the
Most people have
concert.
never heard of them. They're not like a well-known band,
Yeah.
but they sell out. Like the following around them, it's pretty strong.
I feel like Charlottesville has a big draw for bands like that, like smaller but a very loyal
Yeah,
base.
they've been to Richmond, but not very often.
Okay.
So
How old are they? Like 40s?
Nershi, the lead singer, looks like he's like 70.
Okay.
He may not be that old, but
Hard living.
he's been gray since I knew him, which was like 15 years ago.
Okay.
Like, I'm curious.
I'm gonna have to
King,
research
the
when I get
violin, mandolin, guitar player, he doesn't age. Everyone, I don't know. To me, they've always just looked the same, but
Yeah.
I see them frequently enough that it's not noticeable.
Yeah.
Oh, here comes the puppy brigade! Ah, Bobby's big! Look
Aww.
how cute and silvery she is.
Uh-oh.
David, you guys say hi to your friend?
But, yeah, Dave.
Diamond. Are you sweetie? This is the escapee. Yeah.
Dave. Yep. Up. Bobby,
Hi,
up.
David. I'm
Bobby, come here. Bobby, come here. Mika's mad. She's like, you let her out into my garage.
Dave.
Hit the host, then we can show Bobby. She's 52 pounds or more.
Would you like a fava bean? You have a dog? I've asked you this.
We do. His name is Greg. He's a big mug.
I love it. I love it.
Excuse you.
I brought this serendipity from Castle Hill.
The Hoopers dropped that off for us last week or 2 weeks ago.
Shall we?
Sure.
So I have a friend who also has a dog named David.
Stop.
But
What?
she has to rehome him because
What? Is he a pit bull?
no, he's a corgi mix.
Oh, I love corgis.
He sort of
we need a
looks
fifth,
like,
right?
But so they've had him for 4 years. He's about 8 years old, but he's afraid of kids, and they have a toddler.
Afraid?
I don't know.
So he's not like Ford, like
He's
mean to
eight-
them. He's
8
just
years-
like
well, I
mean,
think
like he's-
Are they in? Is he in Richmond?
they're in. I don't know. They may live in Fredericksburg now. But I think there was something in the dog just nipped her daughter's face a little bit, and so it's just.
that's
Yeah, that's-
scary as a parent.
Oh yeah. That's
So-
a risk that. David.
Have I never noticed Dave's brown patch inside of her white patch on her belly? Dave, roll over. Do it again. She doesn't know that, but it's like a little island inside of her white strip.
Do you like a donut?
Kinda. So what is it called again?
Oh yeah.
Severance?
Severance.
Okay. I'll download it. Did you
Oh,
email
it's so
that to
good.
me, Lauren, yet? I downloaded
It's
last night in
hilarious.
Soho for you.
What else are y'all watching besides Obama?
For new, that's probably it. It's been busy with work, even though
Yeah.
for the amount of clients we have, we should have double the sales. It's just a lot of time and work.
Yeah.
I don't really watch much TV because
You TikTok a lot?
yeah, but also like once I like get on the couch and lay down, maybe.
Yeah, Tico.
How do you spell it? Severance? Like SCV?
SEVERENCE. Bobby, no, we don't lick. She loves to kiss. And
We're trying to help her with that. I can stop her if you would
No,
like.
Bobby, chill. Is she bigger than last time?
She is bigger
She
than
double.
I said.
She's not double.
She's solid. Your
She's
dogs
a
are
baby.
so
She's not
solid.
even 8 months yet. She's 7.5.
God, my dog is so tall and gangly. He's like at the perfect height just to clear a table with his tail.
Oh,
Every
like
time.
a coffee table.
This all this are like
Yeah, gone.
Bobby, hey,
She's okay.
Bobby, we don't lick that much.
But she
We're
smells
working
like
on it.
cheese.
We're real working on it. Nitty wants to know if you have plans. We're going to Charlottesville for a concert tomorrow. Bobby,
Thank you, Eric.
Bobby, come here. Come here. Yes. Dave, you're perfect.
See, yeah, Dave. It's like the 3 bears. We have one that's too much, one that's not enough, and Dave is just right. And then Bobby's a puppy, so she doesn't count.
Yeah.
She is the. Is it Goldilocks? Yeah, and the 3 bears.
Yeah. I know. I'm gonna go home and Greg's gonna be like, "You cheated on me."
Excuse me. How did you pick the name Greg?
Well, when we got him, his name was Mac, and then my older kid was like, "Wouldn't it be funny to have a dog named Greg?" And we were like, "Yes, let's do it." Mm-hmm. So he came with some training, which did not work, but so we were doing training at this place off 95. It's like an agility training center where he was living for a while. And I was like, "Can I actually change his name?" And they were like, "Yeah, just start calling him Greg." And I was
You
like,
can change the
"All
dog's
right."
name at any point.
Yeah.
Like even when
like
they're
8, yeah.
Really?
They learn it quick.
Oh.
Because you have the food.
Well, we actually, for a long time, we had to keep Greg in a crate just because he would get into the trash and it was a mess and bad things would happen. Then, like 2 months ago, my husband was like, "I think he's ready." So we tried it, and he's so much more chilled out.
Yeah.
Because he gets to just hang out, and I mean, he sits on my kid's bed most of the day and chews on his murder blanket, and that's it.
Yeah.
You know.
His murder blanket?
He has one of my older
I feel
kids.
like I've heard this story.
Murder blanket.
Yeah.
His old comforter, Greg just commandeered, and he chews on it, but we can't tell if he's like nursing it or killing it. But he needs it like he's nursing.
Alex, she's being rude. She's like putting
Are
her
you
hands
sure?
up. Yes, I do feel like she is.
She's fine, and he closes his little eyes like he's killing, and we can't tell, so we call it murder blanket.
We used to have a dog that did that, and they're like suckling on it.
Yeah.
And I think that I read that.
It's like nursing. They go back to like when they're puppies.
Well, if they're taken from their mom too young,
I think
Before
that's
8
that
weeks.
will.
Who did it, Molly?
Molly did it.
He was an oops, so he was supposed to
He
be
was an oops.
a purebred lab, but the terrier next door hopped the fence, and so he was sold as a
Lab.
and then all of a sudden he got really wiry, weird. So I think once they realized they anyway, but he's got some issues. But.
Yeah. Well, he wasn't an accident. He was a surprise. That's what my mom told me.
About you?
Mm-hmm.
Babies come when they want to.
So do puppies.
Yeah.
Baba. I still can't get over her color.
I
So
Bobby.
silvery,
No
platinum,
kisses.
fawn,
No kisses.
champagne.
Thank you.
I had a pound puppy. Are y'all too young for pound
Oh
puppies?
no, I know pound puppies.
Oh man, I had a pound puppy that
Bobby.
was the same color.
I love my pound puppies.
I do too. The big ones and the little ones.
Do you have ones that were
You're talking about actual dogs?
Yeah, it was stuffed animals. It was a
Yeah.
whole line of stuffed animals in the 80s.
The ones
What?
that
It's like a Cabbage Patch Kid, but not.
But cuter. They were cute.
maybe I'm thinking of Puppy Surprise. I do remember Pound Puppies.
Okay.
But Puppy Surprise, there was like a Obama puppy, and it came and there was babies inside, baby puppies, and then
I played with Ninja Turtles
their
and
eyes were
Ghostbusters,
their
so I
eyes
don't
were
know.
closed. The eyes were closed, and then you could put like a wet, warm washcloth over their eyes.
Oh, and they'd
they would
open?
open up. Yeah.
Like real?
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Have you ever been to Castle Hill? Cidery?
Where's that?
Outside of Charlottesville.
Yeah.
Okay.
It says Keswick, but it's really oh,
So they're like
so
go-to
beautiful.
cider. They bury terracotta pots in the ground, fill them with cider, or maybe they fill them first, bury them so they're sealed. And terracotta, I guess, is like that red clay, like
Yeah.
flower pot stuff.
Uh-huh.
And then it uses that as like a barrier to leach minerals from the ground into the cider
Okay.
to help like age it and like add other flavors. So when you drink it, it's very earthy. This one's actually not that
interesting.
earthy.
Is that a
and
normal
I don't-
thing?
No, I've never heard of it before. But it's like just like cheese. Like you can just do so much
Yeah.
stuff to make it different.
There's this cheese called fava, which I've only had once, and it was a long time ago. But they take just this, it's not even a wheel. It's like they take cheese curd, put it in a bag, and they bury it in the ground. It's an Italian cheese, and it tastes like dirt. It just
Nothing
tastes like
good,
dirt.
just dirt.
It's just
Okay.
sort of weird dirt, but it's a similar idea, I guess. I don't know. That's interesting.
Have you tried this? Does she pour you a glass?
Yeah.
It's very good. This might be one of my favorite ones that they make. Serendipity. But it's
Oh, that's nice.
the only thing I can think of like to describe it is earthy. But not even this one, like the other ones are very earthy.
There's something on the nose, and I can't come up with the right adjective. It's like almost like
It's
a
not-
little bit like
It's not funky, but it's got a prominent smell.
it's almost like
Like a fruit of
Yeah.
sorts. That's not apple, but
but it almost like
like a date or a raisin almost.
but like right on the front end, it's almost like ivory soap,
Oh, I see that.
like a little bit of like
yeah, like freshness. Like,
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does it
I'm
have a
trying to
little?
find-
So it's made from Pippin and Gold Rush. Peak ripeness, fermentation, lightly filter. That's all it says. Keep it simple.
I feel like all the apple comes out at the finish. It's like doing other stuff at the beginning.
Slightly leaning toward the dry and 6.3%.
Which is low for a cider, right?
So like Costco apple juice, if you ferment it completely dry, is 7.
Okay.
But different apples have different sweetnesses. But like most store-bought apple juice is around that like 6.5 to
Okay.
7. It just depends.
When did we go to
Especially if
Castle Hill
it's-
last? I remember we were there with Caitlin, and that was a while ago. But that was that before Timmy's wedding, or that was during Timmy's wedding? That was before.
I just remember that time with Caitlin being like, "Are we gonna need to call an ambulance for her?"
What happened?
She
She
was
just drank
really
too much.
drunk.
Oh.
Her boyfriend drove her home. It was fine. He had to deal with that after.
Well,
She was at the bar just like this.
Oh.
Oh, she
Like
went up
swaying.
to at Castle. It's such a beautiful place, and she walks up.
Yeah, it's like a
drunk
it's like a
pickups.
wedding venue. All the
So they're-
time.
they're
It's
used
beautiful.
to it.
No, well, it's just like very, very nice setting. And she's just like, yeah, there's cider. And I'm like, I know her, but I don't really want
Yeah.
to. We've all been there.
Yeah, I'm trying to find like a nice picture of the outside because it's absolutely gorgeous there. If there's like a lake that it backs up to, or like a pond, maybe.
Do we just redirect this into a puppy cam
Yeah.
night? Like,
Yeah.
I can do that actually. Watch. That'll be cute. No, keep playing.
Hi. Thank you. Okay, enough. Okay, thank you.
So many kisses.
Okay,
I know. Thank you. Thank you.
okay, thank you. They're like, how much do we have to play to get some treats around here?
A little more. Where's
So
the
you're able to
mouse?
leave Greg out.
Yeah,
Well,
he's
you're
done. I
away.
mean, knock on wood. He's done well.
Keep playing.
So he
No,
does try to.
Bobby.
We come home and he's in his. We have one of those mail slots just through the front door, and
His
there are
tongue
full on.
sticking out.
There are full on teeth marks trying to. He's not the friend of the mailman.
Oh.
Like, full teeth marks.
Horton said they're going to visit Truckle Friday.
Oh, good.
Cool.
Dave.
Is
Bobby. Play.
Do you, when the menus you have for your like grilled cheeses and stuff, do those stay the same or do you switch those up depending on your?
We switch them up. We always have like the signature and the ham and cheese, and then we mix it up sort of depending on what we have in the case and what we feel like, and you know, it's good to mix it up some just to keep it fresh for everybody.
Just yeah, even and I've learned, if not for the consumers, just mixing it up for your
Yeah.
mental like
Yeah.
your sanity and stuff is
Yeah,
very valuable.
it is valuable.
Very valuable.
Play dogs.
Does Greg like cheese?
He does. I mean, he likes
Doesn't.
anything.
He's a dog. He likes it all.
Well, I could eat and talk forever. I don't know how many people are still here, but I imagine you might have things to do. I don't know.
She's
We
got
can keep you forever.
No,
I
what
could
time
just-
is it? It's 8:30.
I don't know how long we usually go, so it's like an hour and a half normally. We've
David
got
looks
two
so
slightly out of focus dogs because neither is standing in the place where I focused it.
Dave, come. Dave, come. Sit. 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 Bobby, sit. Yes, wait. Perfect. Go back. Yes.
Oh, I did a corporate tasting a couple weeks ago, and this person came up and said, I do the trivia nights with you guys.
Oh, cool.
And I've heard about you through that. Anyway, she's like, and
That's
now it's all
cool.
come together.
Do you remember her name?
Oh man, I don't.
Where were you at? What was it?
Corporate thing?
Corporate.
It's a corporate thing, just like a let's have a happy office cheese tasting.
Do you remember what company it was?
She had to sign an NDA.
So it was Tesla or Twitter?
Facebook's in Richmond.
Facebook's in Richmond?
At
Bobby,
least some of their servers or something.
That's a hot
We've
spot.
helped people. Well, you're not doing real estate, but
I still help
we've
people.
helped some people that moved here to work at the Facebook server farm.
Really? It's a farm. Do they let you
That's what they
snuggle
call it.
with baby Facebooks? No.
No.
Yeah, he would never do that. He would never do that. I'm
They
curious.
let, they let you eat all the cleared cookies though. That's the most dad nerd joke ever.
That was good. That was real good. That was good. I was gonna say there's a show my parents told me to watch. The Maid on Netflix.
Somebody told me it was good but really stressful. It has Andy McDowell. Is that right?
I don't know who that is.
Do you remember 4 Weddings and a Funeral?
Yeah.
She
know
was
of it.
the southern sounding woman in that. She was in Groundhog Day.
Oh, that's used to be my favorite movie until the pandemic started.
Yeah.
That one.
Now I don't like it anymore
Yeah.
because it's too close
It's
to reality.
too- yeah.
But Bill Murray is one of my favorites.
Me too.
And just in life.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
Bill Murray. The new,
Ghostbusters
you know they're remaking the Wonder Years?
with Paul Rudd is amazing. I thought they already did that.
Well, I think that's
They're remaking it
making
again?
No, I think they're still like coming out with episodes. But yeah, the remake of the Wonder Years. It's really good. Do you have French onion soup with big cheese slabs on top? They don't.
We don't. Our space is pretty small, so we can't do that yet. But maybe one day.
How do you feel about Swiss on French onion soup?
Is it Swiss?
I don't know.
Or is it Parm?
I feel like it's Swiss, right?
It's usually Gruyere or Comté or any.
So if I can't find a Swiss, yeah, is Gruyere more Swissy or more?
So Gruyere is Swiss, Comté is French, but anything sort of in that family. But something with that, like I would do, we usually have a fondue blend around where we just take nubs of Alpines and shred them all and mix them. That's like perfect for that. And you don't have to deal with shredding it. It's already done.
What makes a Jarlsberg?
I think, didn't we look at, it's like, it's not even Swiss. It's like Swedish or something.
I feel like they said, I feel like it's,
It was like, you all
Groundhog's
did the
Day every
trivia.
time.
Yeah, we ask the same questions, I think, every time. We never remember.
It's very distinctive and I like it, but it's like Swiss, but I'm like, why am I going to pay a little bit extra just for Jarlsberg? I don't know. And then also baby Swiss. What makes it baby Swiss?
Hey,
Its eyes aren't open.
well, it does have
Little
tiny
holes,
eyes.
yeah.
So the holes in cheese are called eyes. So it does have little tiny eyes.
His eyes are not even open.
But it's also just not as sharp. It's just sort of like mild. It's more like Havarti almost. Little tiny eyes.
I like Havarti. Is there ever a sandwich you don't put cheese on?
No.
Same.
What's the point?
Same.
Yeah. I've always got some kind of cheese.
Do you ever just eat cheese and crackers?
Yeah. I do, and especially like with kids and stuff.
I feel like that was an easy yes. Like, what? Like, that's what we did pretty
Maybe
much
she's
tonight.
like, I
Instead of
don't
bread.
eat crackers. I just eat the cheese.
Yeah. No, I eat it all.
What's your favorite type of cracker you can get at the grocery store?
Stoned wheat thins.
Wheat thins, stoned wheat.
Stoned wheat thins. It's like a long box like this.
They're not, or is
It's-
it the brand wheat thins?
No, it's
Okay.
called stoned wheat thins,
Okay,
but
okay.
it's like a blue box. They may be Canadian, but my mom used to buy them when we were little. We've just always had them. They were like the fancy crackers.
Like Cars or the fancy crackers in my house.
There are fancy crackers at everyone's house.
You know, there was an incident at the Cars factory like 15, 20 years ago.
Is this
where-
is this a joke?
No.
Okay.
It got
Can it be?
flooded. And so they were out of production for like 6 months. But can you imagine the mess with just like crackers and a ton of water?
Soggy mess
like
everywhere.
A bog of
Just-
cracker goo.
I thought that joke could have been like, oh, the cars was flooded. They had to rebuild the carburetor. Someone, Horton, hopefully he's here. He got that car joke.
Okay.
I don't know.
I'm looking up stoned wheat thins.
Yep. That's my go-to grocery store cracker.
So before fuel injection, like they had carburetors in cars, and I don't know how it works, but like you used like fuel and air and everything to make it go, and
Okay.
it would get flooded if it got too much gas. And you had
Okay.
to like, I don't know, do something to it to get it to start.
Okay. Huh.
So if the car's factory got flooded,
Stop.
Okay,
If you have to explain
okay.
it, it's not funny.
I know.
It would be funny
I
to
know.
a car person. I'm just not a car person.
Same.
No one thought that was funny.
Have you ever bartered cheese for other products or services?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like anything
That kind of industry, like food
in
industry?
food and yeah.
We will,
It's
we
easier
will
than
trade home sale commissions for a 90-pound wheel of Parmesan. I don't know how much that costs, but just don't tell me. It'll probably seem fair.
I will trade American currency for cheese. How's that?
Fair?
Yeah, I feel like, have you ever gone to, like going to a trade show or something? At the end of it, everyone's just doing little deals here or there, or even farmers markets and stuff, because no one wants to
Go home
Take
and
the
then
product.
So you end up with a bunch of different
So wait, we
stuff.
should go to the end of the farmer's market to get the best deals?
Oh, yeah.
Do you ever go to farmers markets?
I used to. Before I had a brick and mortar, I did market stuff a lot, which was good. It was a good way to meet other small business people in the area. But yeah, I mean, at the end, people don't want to take stuff home. They just want to unload it because it's,
Yeah.
it's already, unless you have something packaged that you can just put back on the shelf. But anything that's
Like, I mean, there must be
fresh.
people bringing coolers and
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Or like the fresh veggie people. There's anything, there's a expiration that's coming up. Just trade it. Which is nice. It feels like,
I'm heartbroken that Mrs. Yoder's is
What
temporarily.
happened with that? I saw that. I follow them.
I don't know. I saw the Reddit thread and I cried and
No, they
I never thought there'd be a day where I couldn't get one. Otherwise, I would have eaten more before now.
They put up a whole thing saying that
Management or blah blah blah.
No, they sold it to these other people.
Wait, they sold the business?
Listen, they sold it.
Wait,
listen, and then the people decided like something happened and they couldn't take it on, so they took the business back.
Oh no.
And then they were called to another mission trip in I don't know where, and so they tried to sell the business, and then I don't know they had a calling, and so they're
Okay.
trying to do that, and then now because the sale fell through or whatnot, they don't have anybody to.
I'll buy it. Give me donuts. That's my nickname. I need them.
They're really good donuts.
They're the best.
I've
You
never
had 'em?
had them, but
Really?
I follow them. I mean, they look so big.
They're amazing.
And is it a truck?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So it's sourdough donut. I don't like. I knew what that means, but I don't really know what
Maybe.
that means.
Chill. We're going to Charlottesville tomorrow. Any good cheese places or anything?
I think string cheese at the Ting Pavilion is gonna be good.
I got some recommendations today. Little Star Restaurant and Oakhart Social.
Oh.
Nitty wants to know how you knew how to spell her
It
name.
wasn't me, it was Kim.
Oh.
Okay. Call it a day.
Off camera might wrap it up. See you next time
Yeah.
2 more months.
or next month. I'll do it as much as Maggie wants to.
Yeah. I'm good. This is fun.